ようございます。新居はコパイロットです。今日もマイクロソフトの、フライトシミュレーターの公式中華に参加していきます。今日は大西洋横断がテーマっていうことなんですけど、まあそんな長い時間飛んでるわけにもいかないので、アイルランドから、イングランドですね、最後の工程の最後のところをちょびっと飛ぶだけですけど、参加していきたいと思います。テイクオフしていきますな。じゃあ流れに行っていきますか。
On your stream, I'm assuming, not in real life.
Yeah. No, not in real life. Oh my word. 19 hours it took me.
Alright, I'm also airborne. Positive rate, flaps to takeoff. And let's get a line, the magenta line.
Yep,
and, en route across Ireland to Wales.
So what else are you going to be...
I've set my autopilot to 2,500 for now. We'll see.
No.
We'll see how that holds up. I may have to climb higher.
Don't switch to me for a bit because I've had a massive pause.
Okay, let's go over to Peter and let's see the Dark Stars taking off from JFK.
It's afterburner.
Oh, Vision Jet.
Yeah, Blue Yonder says they took a Fokker.
Sydney,
yeah. Sydney Airport now has the actual Southern Cross Fokker F7 on display as a museum piece that you can visit if you're ever in Sydney.
We're cleared for a NASA departure, so we'll stick the nose a bit.
Unlimited climb approved, Peter.
We need that.
P51.
Look at that steep ascent. What's your vertical speed right now?
Around 36,000 feet per minute.
36,000 feet per minute. Wow.
It's not too bad. We'll shut off the afterburners to save some fuel. Actually, change it a bit. Level off here.
So just as a reminder for those of you on the Dark Star flight plan, you're not going hypersonic yet. So New York to St. John's will be supersonic at around Mach 3. Touch and go in St. John's to commemorate the departure points of both Alcock and Brown and Amelia Earhart on their famous transatlantic flights. And then from St. John's to Bury ports will be hypersonic Mach 10 across the Atlantic. All right, going back to my point of view for a moment, look at all these beautiful pilots flying along. Got a lot of you in sight. And Allison, is it safe to switch back to your POV yet? Has your pause been resolved?
Yeah, yes, please. I'm just going to try and catch you all up now because my pause put me in a really strange place.
Well, luckily you're in the SR-22, which is a little bit overpowered for this flight plan, so you'll have plenty of room to catch up. Actually, I have you in sight on my screen. You're to my 5
Yep,
o'clock.
coming round. Yeah, coming
there
round.
You are.
So yeah, Dr. No Thumb. There you are. Got you all now.
So Peter, here's what I'm curious to know. How many of the Dark Stars are going to be able to actually fly together? I imagine there's going to be a lot of separation very quickly because you're all going to go fast.
Exactly, and with only like a very small heading difference, you'll be miles apart in seconds, right? So it will be very, very, very difficult to fly information. I won't say impossible because probably X can pull it off, but.
Do you have any extra camera look around? Do you have any other Dark Star pilots?
DC3 なぜか見えないね。リボリーが違うのかな。
There are a few.
これも 美しい飛行機ですな。
Not too shabby.
Oh, nice turnout. I wasn't sure which would be the more popular of the two routes, the Ireland to Wales or the Transatlantic, but look at all those
That's really cool.
I knew Hex would do it, but I wasn't sure how many others would take up that challenge.
If Hex would have surprised us, he would now buy the Cessna.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been too funny. The one time we do a dedicated Darkstar flight that Hex uses a GA plane.
Yeah. I mean, in front of me, there are also quite a few scenes.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Hex is there. So. Yeah. Boy, she is twitchy for supersonic.
SD4 メモ帳用意してもらえばな。
So Allison, I know you've been a guest on the channel a few times. I'm sure many of our viewers are familiar with who you are and what you do on your channel. But for anyone who's new today or has not seen your stream before, and I'll put a link in the chat here momentarily, what specifically prompted you, or why would we have invited you to join a stream that is related to historical flights involving Amelia Earhart?
Yeah, well, mainly because I've been recreating the flights of Amelia Earhart. I did one round world trip following what's known as the Earhart route, the trip she disappeared on, in the Mooney, because there was no Electra in the sim, and I'd promised to do it again if it came out, and it subsequently did. And we did it again, but this time I had an assistant, if you like. Captain Rash was my navigator, and we navigated the Earhart route again, but this time just using celestial navigation to get us around the world, which was amazing. It was there were just times on the journey that were just absolutely incredible. I've recreated some of the
one of the coolest things I've ever seen anyone in the flight sim community do. What you and Captain Arash did, recreating Earhart and Noonan's famous flight.
It was brilliant. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever top it. But I do. I recreate historical flights, and I'm currently doing Geraldine Mock's 1964 flight around the world in a Cessna.
All right. So again, I put a link to Allison's Twitch stream in the chat. Please give her a follow. Check out her channel. Great historical, educational content from the world of aviation history, and in particular, women's aviation history.
And if you're going to Flight Sim Expo next week, look out for the little happy smiley face on the back of my t-shirts, and come and say hello.
We actually pulled it off, CD.
Pulled what off?
We are actually in formation with 2 Dark Stars.
Let me switch to your POV then. Oh yeah, look at that. On the subject of Flight Sim Expo, of course, Microsoft Flight Simulator, we will be at Flight Sim Expo next week. We have a very large booth, so if you are going to be there in person, come find us, come check us out, come talk to the team. Jane will be there in person, so if you've been watching Jane on the stream all this time, you'd like to meet Jane, that's your opportunity. Jorg, of course, will also be there, several other members of the team. Next week, though, important announcement. We are doing a community fly-in, but it's not on Friday. It's going to be Flight Sim Expo related. And so we're going to do a flight to Houston virtually in the sim, but it's going to be on Saturday during the actual expo itself. So mark your calendars, change your reminders. There will be no fly-in Friday next week. It's going to be fly-in Saturday. And we're going to be flying to Flight Sim Expo in the sim. And we're going to be cutting away to Jane, who's going to be wandering around the convention floor at Flight Sim Expo, interviewing various different people and and so you'll be able to actually, see what's actually happening at Flight Sim Expo. Tune into our stream next week. And also, not to give too much away, but we've got a really big prize giveaway. Probably, I don't want to say this definitively because I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's probably the best prize giveaway we've ever done on the channel. Will be happening next week during Fly-In Saturday. So make sure you tune into that. We'll announce more details exactly about what that prize is. Viper Strike, thank you for that raid. Welcome in. Nice to have you and your viewers here with us. Peter, looks like you're in a pretty steep dive right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to Mach 3 actually, because otherwise it will take a lot of time. But seeing now we...
Mach 1.8,
1.82, 1.83. It is not a real vision, Jets. I'll set expectations accordingly. Not a real plane of any kind. But it is a pretty sweet ride. When I found out what we were giving away, my eyes lit up quite a bit. So I think whoever wins is going to be very happy with that prize. Chris Duke says, I just heard about Flight Sim Expo yesterday. I live 90 minutes from Houston. Well, last I heard, and this was a few days ago, there were fewer than 90 tickets remaining at the Flight Sim Expo. So if you still would like to go, check quickly to see if there are any tickets still available. People are saying there's audio issues. Is it the voice chat or is it the stream? I'm not showing any dropped frames on my end. Looks all good from what I'm seeing. I just switched to my point of view. Maybe it was Peter's audio. I'm not sure. It's gone. Okay, Peter, we're hearing people are saying your sound has some issues.
ゼロ戦に乗っていた頃を思い出しますぜ。ゼロ戦に乗りてえなまた。
Hold on. How about this?
Okay, let me switch back to Alright, let's go check now. Peter's screen. Check. Is it still crackling or is it good now? Okay, it's okay now. Great. Alright. Looks like we got that sorted. Yeah, they're saying the voice chat sound was fine. Your
It's still crackling. It's too loud because I can turn it down a bit.
Alright, so Allison,
Yes.
what can you tell us then about some interesting things that may have happened during the flight of the Friendship, Transatlantic?
That's a good question. Do you know what they ate?
I don't, actually. I'm excited to learn. Look at this. I didn't even prompt this, by the way, chat. I did not prompt this. Allison, on her own accord, brought up food. This was not me this time.
If you've ever watched my streams, it's all about food.
Yeah.
The flying is just like a secondary part, really. If we don't stop talking with food at some point. But yes, oranges.
This channel also has that reputation.
Oranges and sandwiches. Mainly. And some flasks of... What type of drink do you think she had?
Gin? Bourbon?
Nope. Nope. She had hot chocolate. That was her preferred. The pilot and co-pilot stroke mechanic, they had flasks of coffee, but she didn't really want that. And I mean, the real thing about this flight is that she wasn't actually originally going to be the intended person that was going to be doing the being the passenger. That was Amy Phipps Guest of the Carnegie dynasty. She was going to be doing that flight. But because she was a multi-billionaire-ess, her family basically said, no, we don't want you doing that. And so they had to fly in somebody else. Amelia at the time only had about 500 hours of flight time to her name, although she currently held the women's altitude record, which she attained gyrocopter.
Just
It
gotta
wasn't
jump in
really
for 1 second.
even.
We do have a touch and go on our flight here.
Oh, do you? Oh, crikey.
Echo
Tell me
India
that.
Charlie Alpha. So I missed in the circuit base.
Oh, well, I'm miles away from it. I wonder where you'd all gone.
So,
I
I thought it would be interesting to turn off the afterburner.
あった。あ、こっち
Where's this going,
あ、こ
Peter?
れ飛行場があるのか。
Both my engines
わからなかった。
kinda. So,
スタッチングをするか。
yeah.
Control E.
There's that.
Texas said it probably went below Mach 3.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario, Peter, is you can always just start a new flight and spawn at St. John's.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. You fixed it? It's fine.
なぜかというとフラップがないので。
Oh, you guys spool up nicely.
Alright, I'm coming in on short final now.
And spool down nicely. No, wait,
この
no.
ままならいいでしょう。
Shit.
降りますぜ。
There's Edarin and Halo Pelican in front of me. Lots of other pilots also doing their touch and go
みんな
landings
正面
here.
から来る。
And we got the cameo, the Jane Stallhorn cameo.
うわ
Alright, there's touchdown.
大事故。
Throttle flaps to take off.
大事故
Just
じ
always
ゃ
makes
よ
me。chuckle.
Yeah, me too. It's never gonna get old. We're gonna run it into the ground and it'll still be funny. Alright, positive rate. Flaps to take off. We're airborne again after that touch and go. Alright, Peter, how you doing? Did you get your engine restarted?
No.
I thought Jane was with us there for a second. Oh, I wish Jane was with us. Anyone who missed the earlier announcement, Jane was supposed to be on today's flight. 20 minutes before we went live, her internet dropped.
あ、
out.
今日は
And,
ダイヤモ
last
ン
I
ドエア
heard, she
クラ
was
フ
on the
トか。
phone with her ISP, trying to get that sorted. With any luck, Jane will be able to join partway through the stream. Crash and burn, eh, Mav?
No land to be seen anywhere.
And you've got an engine failure in a plane that doesn't look like it glides very well.
Double engine
Oh, Hex is saying you ran out of fuel.
failure. No, I don't. Oh, am I? Oh, wait. Yes, I totally did.
So just call in the tanker.
Just it.
Yep. Now control E. Hex is recommending unlimited fuel. So speaking of kind of potential emergency situations over the ocean with no land in sight, this happened to Alcock and Brown on the Transatlantic crossing. They flew a fog bank, and of course in 1919, during that flight, we didn't have sophisticated instruments like we have today, and they accidentally rolled their Vickers Vimy inverted. Had no idea that they were inverted because they were in fog. They had no visual references. And they only realized where at one point they looked up, and instead of seeing sky, they saw water. And once their hearts started beating again, they rolled the plane back right side up and continued on with their flight. I can't imagine how terrifying that must have been, though.
Yeah, so note to self, afterburner does take quite some fuel. See, everything is fine.
So the interesting thing about Alcock and Brown in their first transatlantic flight, I think people who are really know a lot about aviation history are certainly familiar with those names. But I think the average layperson, if you were to ask them who flew across the Atlantic first, I would hazard a guess. You ask random people on the street, probably 90% of people you talk to are going to say Charles Lindbergh. Which is incorrect. It's not the right answer. Charles Lindbergh was very famously the first person to fly solo across the Atlantic in 1928, 9 years, 1927, sorry, 8 years after Alcock and Brown flew as a pair across the Atlantic. And it was a very big deal, of course. He arrived to a hero's welcome. He landed in Paris in the spirit of St. Louis. It was considered a huge feat of bravery to attempt that feat on your own. But not the first.
なんか珍しい。なんていう飛行機だろう。ちょっと離れるか。
Next airport on the flight plan, Tarnish Mossman. We just departed from Echo India Charlie Alpha, so we're probably 5 minutes to the southeast of that.
Echo India Charlie Alpha.
To Echo India Charlie November. Currently 36 nautical miles from there, so approximately 14 minutes flying time.
Hey, Tarnish. One of my regulars flies along with me.
Oh, very good.
Tries to scare the living hell out of me when I'm flying along very quietly, and all of a sudden there's a massive flyby of a jet.
JB Geeter asks, CD, besides Microsoft Flight Simulator, what was your favorite announcement from the Xbox showcase? Starfield looks insane. Yeah, I mean, Starfield, for good reason, was obviously the key focal point. They saved it last for good reason, and you know they also had like a dedicated post-only Starfield show. But not counting Starfield, and of course not counting Microsoft Flight Simulator, the one that I think really excited me the most was 33 Immortals. I don't know if anyone saw that. It looks so incredibly ridiculous and fun. When I saw the trailer for that, I just thought this looks pure chaotic, and I can't wait to try that game when it comes out.
そうや、録画の最後で、2人がジェニファー・コネリーとトム・クルーズが乗ってたやつ、2人乗りしてたな。
Peter Hex says he is on your right.
Simon. There he is.
なんか第一の色が日本と違うので、
Amelia Earhart also had a nickname linked to Charles Lindbergh. What was it, CD?
I don't know for sure. Was it Lady Lindy?
It was.
That was a guess. I pulled that out somewhere from the back of my brain.
Well, his nickname was Lucky Lindy.
Right.
And then they just used it to take it to Lady Lindy.
Yeah, makes sense. You can see how they arrived at that.
The flight was also the beginning of her relationship with George Palmer Putnam, who she later married. Very well known, who became her manager and publicist. And he had all the rights to the story of the flight. Because she wasn't flying, one of the things she had to do was keep all the flight logs. And so she wrote a book, which George Palmer Putnam published, which is called 20 Hours, 40 Minutes Our Flight in the Friendship, and tells you everything about the flight from inception to completion.
I'm assuming you've read that, Alice?
Oh, I have, yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
I'm not entirely sure, but that book, it might be in the public domain now. You may be able to find a free PDF. Might be.
I wasn't able to find a hard copy version, so I only have the audio version. I tried to get as many books as I can, because they're often a really good source of information, often from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
We have Richie Ricardo is saying hello to you, Allison.
Ricky Ricardo, hello, lovely to see you. When she got, obviously they landed at Quill, which is actually, actually the bay they landed near was between Berryport and Quill in Carmarthenshire. And after that, they flew onwards to Southampton for a reception, and she met Lady Mary Heath there. Lady Mary Heath, who had recently literally just arrived back from her trip from Cape Town to Croydon.
Which is, you've also recreated that journey on your stream.
I have, yes, and recently, not so long ago, finished that one. But she took the Avro Avian for a flight, and Lady Mary Heath sold it to Amelia, and Amelia had it shipped back to the US, and then she flew it across West Coast to East Coast to West Coast and back again, and I've also done that flight. And she took husband on that one.
So what's next on your channel, Alison? What's the next event?
The one I'm doing at the moment is Geraldine Mock, which is where she flew the Cessna around the world and became the first woman to fly a single-engine aircraft around the world. Actually became the first woman to solo flight around the world because Amelia didn't make it.
That's right.
Everyone else that subsequently flew around the route, even the Earhart route in 1967, had co-pilots. So she became the first person. After that, it's a real challenge, a complete challenge that I've never done, something I've never done before. And it's recreating Jennifer Murray's journey in the Robinson R-44, the first lady to fly a helicopter around the world without autopilot.
In 1997, I remember that well when it happened.
Indeed, yes. So that's next after I finish Geraldine Mock, but I've got a long way to go. I've only just got to Algeria, so I've got a long way to go back round to Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, another 18 stops, I think.
I just enabled the scramjets for the first time. So.
No, it's
Peter, you must be getting.
CD.
Looks like you're coming up on Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. Looking at your VFR map. Flying through some pretty turbulent air.
Yeah.
Hex says you're over.
雨だ。
I'll filter that one.
あ、雨の音が聞こえる。この飛行機。
Of course, we expect the flight from New York JFK to St. John's, Newfoundland to be the relatively longer portion of the flight, even though it's shorter distance, because you're not going hypersonic for this part. Only after St. John's, you're going to go boost to Mach 10.
Try
it. T. Miller says, speaking of records, someone just set the 24 hours on a motorcycle record at 2,493 miles.
Wow.
LCF is here and waves to everyone. Welcome in, nice to see you all.
What indicated you doing CD? Because I think I've bombed past you, haven't I?
My ground speed currently is 147 knots. I may be way ahead of you actually. Let me throttle down.
All right, I'll catch up then.
Yeah, I'm gonna reduce speed.
Fly like I stole it.
お、スピットファイア3機だ。やっぱ大
The dark side,
帝
you
国
don't
を
have
飛
to
ぶなら
touch
ス
and
ピッ
go
トファ
if
イ
you
アだ
want
った
to, but there is
か
a。touch and go on the flight plan in St.
あ、
John's,
ラプ
Newfoundland,
ターまでを。
in commemoration of the departure points for both the flight of the Friendship
ス
and
ピード
Alcock
速
and
度
Brown,
一挙はちょっと厳
the
し
two
いから
famous
ね。
transatlantic flights that we're commemorating because they both took place this week in history, 1919 and 1928.
Yeah, I think I'm way ahead of you. Do you remember I mentioned those F-22? I've got tarnish tearing up on me. Thought I didn't see it in that F-22.
ダンケルクにじゃあ助けに行きますか、味方を。
You know what amazes me is just how quickly the field of aviation developed in the first half of the 20th century. From 1919, we went from the first crossing of the Atlantic Ocean. 50 years later, we were landing astronauts on the moon. That's an incredible amount of progress in such a short amount of time.
おお、びっくりした。
And very, just taken from the very basic bare bones of what you had in, the Tiger Moth, and then onwards. By the time you were at like mid-1920s, the avionics panels were getting very close to what we have in analog cockpits today.
Yeah, it's true. Of course, probably since the late 90s, early 2000s, we have now the migration to glass cockpits and GPS, which would have been unheard of in the time of Alcock and Brown and Amelia Earhart.
Yes.
もうダメだ。
Aircraft were still called ships because that's how they navigated them.
There's probably still flying, but not very many of them. There are probably still some aircraft that have the bubble for celestial navigation. So you can pull out your sextant and get a fix on a star, the moon, the sun, etc., and determine your position that way. Not a lot of those still fly, but there are still some.
Old 737 still everything's done.
だいぶ雲が来ましたね。
Even the 737-600 or 700.
EC3 のリバリーをもうちょっと変えて。
Amelia, I don't think you can see my t-shirt, but I have my Amelia t-shirt on with a very famous hat, a leather flying cap that she wore on her flight in French. She didn't use it on her flight in the Navy. How much did it sell for auction in 2022?
What was it just last year? Probably in the millions.
Not quite.
Okay.
Anyone know in chat?
150?
$825,000.
Wow.
That's almost $1 million.
Yeah.
Nearly $1 million, but not quite. Not
And
quite.
Sold to a private collector or to a museum?
I think sadly it went to a private collector.
Transatlantic in a prop? No. So if you're just tuning in, today's flight plan is your choice of two different options. We're commemorating two historic transatlantic crossings. First by Alcock and Brown, the first non-stop transatlantic flight, June 14th to 15th, 1919, which landed in Clifton, Ireland, which was our departure point of today's flight. And the second flight we're commemorating was June 17th, 1928. Amelia Earhart and two other crew members in the Fokker F-7 Friendship. Amelia became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in Buryport, Wales. So that's our option one, is Clifton to Buryport. Option two, which you can see Peter is on your screen right now flying, is a transatlantic flight, New York JFK to Buryport in a hypersonic Dark Star with a touch and go in St. John's, Newfoundland en route.
Someone asked which auction house. It was Heritage Auctions that sold it.
And Iceman, yes, after St. John's, absolutely. Take off, do your touch and go, climb to 180,000 feet, and go Mach 10 to get across the Atlantic. That's the plan.
Joey was very close at 650,000 as well. Are we touching and going at Echo India Charlie November?
SD4 っていうのは持ってないんだろうな。
We are indeed. And I am
メモ帳がいるね。何がなかったのか。
I couldn't see it yet.
ちや。みんなが消え
Peter
ち
says,
ゃう。
"Oh no!" Just like cut away from his point of view.
I think Hex tried to catch up with me, and now he's plummeting to Earth. So. Oh, Hex.
Oh, look at that! Look how high Peter has seen the curvature of the Earth.
Oh my words.
Incredible! What a view!
I'm not even going full speed. I'm only doing half throttle. Hex is coming up.
All right, I have got the
からの
runway in
動画
sight
た
now.
ちですよ。
I'm going to disable my autopilot and enter the circuit for a left-hand downwind.
ダウンウィンと言ってるから、なんかどこに降りるのか。一斉にみんなこうか。ここに飛行場がある。全然見えんけど。ここにあるんかな。みんなについていけば大丈夫か。
160,000 feet.
Another really small airport here, it looks like. Just a little tiny runway
ここに飛行場
past
があ
that
る。
highway. Turning on to final now. Table, yeah, different
あ、あれ
scenes in
あれがそう
OBS,
か。
and I have a Elgato Stream Deck that I can switch between myself, Allison, and Peter with the touch of a button. And we're using a RTMP server for them to send me their sim POV.
燃料は十分。
Alright, pretty steep and fast tactical approach here.
Yeah. Mine was pretty steep and fast as well.
Oh, did you already land, Allison? Sorry, I missed your...
No, I'm behind you. Don't you worry.
Okay.
ボヨンボヨーン。
I used every inch of that runway.
You paid for the whole runway.
Yep. Alright, we're lifted off, positive rates. And let's switch over
まあ
watch
ボヨン
Allison's
ボヨンして
landing
た
now.
な。こっちも一緒じゃったけれども。
I'm a little bit hot actually. Oh, up nose. There we go. We're awake.
Oh, you just kissed the ground there, Allison.
Yep,
No,
kissed
no
it and
roll at
away we
all.
go.
Yeah.
I just know that there's some pylons at the other end, so I didn't really want to hit those. I watched them on the way in.
うん、ちょっと失敗。
Alright, Peter, you must be descending into St. John's. They're pretty close.
Yes, I am. Currently looking at the
の街だ。
runway heading.
もうアイルランドかね、まだ。
Texas is saying take runway 11 for touch and go. Columbia is saying the same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Probably not going to make it. Maybe if I do a 360.
That reminds me, Tarnish, I really must get the F-22, right?
I'm coming in at Mach 4 to the airport, so.
Yeah, might want to bleed off some of that airspeed. I mean, Allison and I both came in hot on our landings, but we were doing, 90 to 100 knots, not Mach 4.
I mean, just the same on a different scale, right? It's just.
Smooner says the clouds, they are beautiful. Yes, indeed. Great views today.
トムキャットだ。
Peter flying over Atlantic Canada currently, and myself and Allison flying over Ireland.
まあヨーロッパらしいっちゃヨーロッパらしい感じのあれになってきましたな。風景。
Actually saying to approach at Mach 1.6.
I could. It's
I believe in you, Peter. I think you'll pull this off.
I'm not sure yet.
You have crash settings on or off?
Off, yes, right.
なんだ全然アイルランドですね。結構広いのか
So, we'll go subsonic here.
So, cut away from you really quickly, Peter. Look at this. I've got
素晴らしい。
two Spitfires. We're almost in a finger four formation.
の
Maybe an escort
ハンド
here.
ホールド。もう
What
ちょ
a
っとない。
beautiful looking aircraft that is.
Although she was a pilot, why didn't Amelia do any flying on the journey?
I actually don't know that.
She was only VFR trained, and the flight itself used instrument flights. Basically, that's how they navigated the entire thing.
So this is actually news to me because I would assume 1928 was early enough in the history of aviation that they probably hadn't formulated VFR and IFR rules yet. So I actually had no idea.
Yeah, but they had much more sophisticated instruments, including drift instruments, auto gyros. Although they didn't use it for actual autopiloting, they did use it as a secondary backup for the compass, because obviously the Sperry had been invented by then.
Yeah.
So they had that so that they didn't get lost. But she just hadn't done any of that flying at all.
Oh, look at this. A third Spitfire has joined the formation. Look at that. All the Spitfires.
I see Flo Schultz 90 there flying in the newly released Coronado C180-2 retractable gear, which I will be flying tomorrow.
Just yesterday, I think that came to the marketplace, if I remember correctly.
I believe I have a friend who has one. So it would be fun to fly.
When you say you have a friend who has one, you mean the actual plane, not the sim.
The actual plane, yeah. I know he has a plane. I know he has a Cessna with retractable gear, and that kind of narrows it down, right? I've seen it. It looks a lot like the 182 NG, but I'm not completely sure it is.
Allison, question for you from Smooner asks, how did they measure drift? Referring to the friendship.
So it's drift measures and is mainly based on very, very accurate chronometer and timing. So basically, you would turn to 90 degrees and you would fly for a set period of time as you were still trying to keep your main track. Then you would turn and do 180 degrees for a set period of time. And as you're doing all of this, your first point is that you're now looking in 3D space. This is quite hard to explain without showing you it, but you have one point here, you had the point you were at, you had the point up here that you're now at, and when you go back to the middle, you can triangulate what is known as your most probable position. And then that sort of gives you a rough estimation of how fast the wind is going, roughly. And you mix that in with deductive reckoning, and it gives you an estimation, approximation of your wind speeds, and then you can adjust it.
Sorry, I gotta jump in, Allison. Peter is turning final.
It's pretty sloppy.
You know, it's just a touch and go. You don't need to do a beautiful butter landing. You have gear down?
Right, yeah. Let's go.
Oh, that's fine.
I mean, works.
Yeah.
Wasn't as clean as Hex.
Yeah, but Hex has a lot more hours in the Dark Star than you do.
Right.
Flying Cookie says it's fine.
Well, you say that, but...
Ooh, are you getting airborne?
Well, now I am. Just a bit more runway than
into the trees. Well, you know, Allison just kissed the runway. I used every inch of my runway, and you went beyond what was available.
I think we never did the proper performance calculations, right? Whether we could actually land here.
Well, Bury Port is going to be interesting to land a Dark Star there. I think it has 2,000 feet of runway.
Interesting, you mean impossible, right? 2,000 feet, that's like what I normally land in the system. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll just do a short field landing.
Sure.
If you can do it in a Cessna, you can do it in a Dark Star.
Right. Basically the same thing.
Yeah. All right, so now that you've done your touch and go, many fun uses for. Well, I'm certainly excited to hear what Crossfire has got in store when you apply that technology to some of your products.
We see the red.
Extra 145, your transponder appears inoperative or malfunctioning. Reset squawk 4661.
Spitfire era escort seems to have disappeared. I still have a huge block of aircraft already. Oh, I've got an F-14
Extra
now.
145 verify, squawking 4661.
Eli Jot 5169 off to my 7 o'clock low in the Tomcat. Accelerating into a climb now. And then oh, there's a Spitfire. Got one of them back.
Extra 145
Extra
ATC
300 over
services
there.
terminated. Good day.
And then Allison, who do you have flying around you right now?
I have Captain, Nova Stuff, Chris TN, a whole load of names I can't read, Criminal Pilot, Skylar, Energizer, Hayati, Silbo's flying around quite heavily, Torgonius, and Kiwi Craig I can see. There's a load more, but I can't see all the names through the cloud.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit behind me, Allison. I've got Kiwi Craig in sight to my 6 o'clock. I don't see you, though, at the moment.
I've got Flying Fordo up ahead of me. Is he near you?
Don't see Flying Fordo either.
I see Nova Stuff in an MEO9, the old Messerschmitt.
Oh, here's an interesting bit of trivia here. Speaking of top secret black projects, Lockheed Skunk Works. To my 12 o'clock flying L39, I've got Have Blue 777. Bit of aviation trivia for you if you don't know the significance of that. Have Blue was the top secret code name of the Lockheed F-117 stealth fighter.
Of course,
top secret development project.
And Skunk Works also has an Amelia Earhart link, of course, because the engineer that changed the Electra from a single tail to a twin tail was Kelly Johnson, who then
legend
went on to form Skunkworks. Sorry, yeah. He was the person that worked out all of her altitudes and engine and settings for the flight around the world in 1937. Whilst he was on a break from his masters.
Nice way to spend a sabbatical.
Yeah.
So how far away are you from the next waypoint?
Well, we're just coming up off the southeastern coast of Ireland. We're going to be crossing the Irish Sea to Wales probably in the next 5 minutes or so. Peter, how close are you now?
Less than 1,000 miles.
Which you'll do in probably 10 minutes.
Less than 990 miles. Less than 980 miles. And now less than 70 miles. Anyway, we'll be there.
Yes, you still have to decelerate and come into a nice, smooth, controlled landing, though.
It's...
And descend from 140,000 feet.
I'm already at 99,000, so it's fine. I have everything completely under control.
I think we should be firewalling a CD.
Well, I mean, we still have another 45 minutes in the stream to go, just because Peter's doing Mach 10 across the Atlantic. Doesn't mean the rest
less
of us should
than
also
900 miles to do.
Hey, Foxtrot, lovely to see you too.
Oh, and actually see, I think the amount of... No.
Oh, something sounds like it's happening on Peter's screen right now.
No, yeah. I was trying to...
That's a cool use of the showcase camera. I love that shot.
Yeah. I think I just lost all my buddies. There's X. Blend. Or a few more.
Mahama Blend is joining us all the way from China, where it's 3 a.m. to start this busy flight. So, love our dedicated... sorry, did I say China? I meant Japan. My mistake. So yeah, I love our dedicated Japanese flight sim enthusiasts who get up at crazy early hours to participate in our community flying events. If the Dark Star was a real military craft, what sort of role do you think it may play? Okay, so this is my guess. I would think it would be like the X-15. I think it would be a high-altitude, high-speed test aircraft. I don't necessarily think it would have an operational purpose. As
reconnaissance, maybe.
Maybe reconnaissance, but someone in chat mentioned earlier that there's really no reason for it to exist with satellites.
Right, yeah, true.
Yeah. So I kind of think it would be just sort of like the X-15, just really high-speed, high-altitude test bed for gathering data and R&D purposes.
And ultimately probably spaceflight stuff.
Amazon Prime next hour delivery.
Yeah, from China. That would be awesome.
James Bond would use it to get from point A to point B in a hurry. Oh, here we go, chat. Speaking of James Bond, I was at pub trivia last night, and there was a James Bond related question, which my team nailed. It was a 7-part question. Name all 7 James Bond films that have a single word title. So, for example, the most recent one, No Time to Die, that's a 4-word title, so that would not count. So one of the 7 James Bond films only have a 1-word title. Moonraker and Octopussy, those are 2.
Goldfinger, Thunderball.
Goldfinger is 3. GoldenEye, Thunderball. We're looking for 2 more. No, sorry, 1 more. Oh no, it is 2 more. Yeah, Skyfall, Yeah, and then one more.
Spectre.
Spectre, Allison got it.
Wow, Allison.
Spy Who Loved Me, not the correct answer for that question, but I do think The Spy Who Loved Me has the most iconic opening scene, possibly even the most single iconic moment in all of the James Bond franchise. And that's when Roger Moore, in the opening shot of that movie, skis off a cliff and then free falls and then opens a parachute, and it's the Union Jack on the parachute. And then the theme starts playing. What a cool moment.
Very cool, but also quite tragic. Because the person that did the stunt really hurt himself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think they paralyzed themselves.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's very iconic.
Shows the risk. Another maybe potentially little known fact, in Top Gun, the original 1986 Top Gun, in the scene where Maverick's F-14 goes into a flat spin and then Maverick and Goose have to eject, while they were filming that stunt, the actual stunt pilot in that sequence died filming that scene. The plane crashed and the stunt pilot died.
なんかランドマークの旗がついてる。
So a lot of people
7ある
putting
橋なん
their
か。
lives and their safety on the line for our entertainment.
Yeah.
雨か。音はそれでもすごい。ポッポとしてるな、多少。
Yeah, flying Flo. Obviously not the real Daniel Craig jumping out either. It was two stunt people. One dressed as Daniel Craig as James Bond, and
ラン
one
ドマ
dressed
ー
as
ク
the
なんだ
Queen.
な。橋くぐるの好きやな、みんな。くぐりたくなっちゃうもんね、走って。
What are you going to do to entertain? Well, Captain Kenobi, I would hope that I bring you entertainments every Friday on Community Fly-ins.
くぐるで
This is what I'm doing for your entertainment.
くぐるでくぐるで
I'm certainly not going to put my safety on the line, though.
Oh, we missed the bridge.
Oh, we did. Oh no, I have it in sight. I'll disable my autopilot, and I'm gonna turn around and see if I can fly underneath it. Deep turn. Tactical descent. There's the bridge. So of course I'm deliberately ceding the race to Peter by doing this, turning around and going backwards. Although I'm pretty sure that Peter was gonna win that one easily anyways.
440 miles to go.
Iceman wants to know, when do you cut the scramjets? I think Hex said earlier, around 100 and some miles out.
Yeah, I was actually trying to start my descent like 250, 300 miles out, so in 2 minutes. And then from there, the scramjets will actually automatically shut up when you are getting too low and too slow, and they will just restart the normal engines.
All right, here we go. I'm living dangerously. I'm going full send YOLO mode here. It's always a flip of a coin if you can fly underneath a bridge or not in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Usually with the POIs you can. It's the auto-gen bridges that you can't. So I'm feeling reasonably confident.
Yeah.
Let's see, here we go.
Yeah.
And success. We did it, Reddit. All right, now to get back on track.
So we're actually trying to land here on a 792 meter runway. The grass strip I usually do with the Cessna is like 1,000 meters, so this is 200 meters shorter than the grass strip I normally land the Cessna at. Which is fine.
Flying Flow, I believe you can fly through the two spans of Tower Bridge in London. I believe that is possible. So I'm just gonna read letters. I don't think this is a name that's pronounceable. HRHTJR14 says the terrain on CD's point of view is amazing. So I'll let you know I'll switch back to my POV for a sec. I'll let you know what settings I'm on. I have a NVIDIA 3080 Ti GPU, 64 gigs of RAM, and a 12th gen Intel i9 CPU. and I'm running at 1440p resolution, everything set to ultra. And I do have the NVIDIA frame rate counter in the top score, so I'm getting a little over 30 frames per second with everything cranked up as high as it will possibly go. And yeah, I think it does look pretty good. So I don't have like a 4090 or anything like that. Although Peter, you have a 4090, don't you? No. I think SimTom has a 4090 as well now too.
Yeah. But for now, it's rendering 4K at 60 FPS, so it's just doing. Maybe it does even 10K because 1080p, because I set the render scale to half.
Oh, you're using DLSS?
No, just render scale to 50% because we only stream in 1080p, right? So
right, yeah.
It doesn't make much sense to render everything here in 4K. So my GPU is now just swallowing along. Oh, 200 miles out. I'm cutting the.
Colbneo says, fun fact, do you know that Class Alpha airspace only goes as high as flight level 600? Higher than that is Class E airspace in the USA. I did know that, in fact. And this is why in the very famous SR-71 LA speed check story, they're technically in Class Echo airspace at the time, and they don't need to be checking in with LA Center. They were only monitoring that frequency, even though just to keep track of the aircraft below them. But they actually technically did not even need to be monitoring that frequency because they were above the Alpha airspace. Yes, but they had to check in, yes. They didn't have to, but they had to, if you get my meaning, if you know that story. Old Veteran says they do check in. They are not always the only ones up there. We have separated them on occasion. Oh, interesting.
Hello, Old Veteran. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Old Veteran 965 is kindly my host before and after Expo.
Oh, look at that. I see all of you guys see.
Yeah, Hex in chat said he's coming to say hi.
Look at it.
Cucumber.
So our two groups are actually going to link up then and land together for a report.
Yep. Seeing SDO above us. Phoenix is coming in. Check my fuel. Yeah, alright. Alright, here we go. Into the RSC.
Yeah.
Cold Eva says, my father-in-law tells a story when he was a kid, his dad in their Bonanza having to relay a message to ATC from an Air Force airplane that was too high to transmit to center directly.
Oof. Huge stutter, sorry about that.
Says, you didn't use actual altitude reporting for verbal. There were code words to be able to know where they actually were if mode C was turned off for any reason. And then you use the code words to move them or others. Very interesting. Even over continental U.S. airspace, the SR-71 pilots will be flying secret missions. Captain Arash is here. Welcome in, Captain Arash.
Hey, Captain Arash.
Very nice to see you.
Looking forward to seeing you next week as well, sir.
Don't have any of the dark stars in view yet. Oh, I say that, and then I look to my left, and what's this?
Yes. There we are.
I was looking way up. I was looking at, I figured you were all still at 100,000 feet or something.
No, we're coming down. I'm still at 17,000. Doing Mach 0.7, so it's fine.
We'll be streaming for probably another 30 to 35 minutes or so.
Oh God, no, Cold Nebo. Me in the Dark Star, that would be like disastrous. No, I'm in the SR22. Much more at home, at least, with the propeller in front of me.
Which is also a pretty dangerous plane, statistically.
Well, it's interesting. I don't think there's anything innately dangerous about the SR22.
No. It's just
yeah.
Statistically, that's right.
Right. Yes. This is an interesting story, though. Same with the Bonanza, for that matter. So I know a lot of you probably are aware that the Bonanza got the nickname of the Doctor. And the reason why is because the Bonanza first released it was the hottest, sleekest, sexiest aviation aircraft. And so you had a lot of relatively low-power1960s, and they bought too much airplane. They could afford to buy a Bonanza, but they weren't necessarily qualified to fly a plane of that performance. And so, you had some relatively underqualified pilots who bought this plane and flew it, and then there were several tragic pilot error-related incidents. As a result, the Cirrus SR22, kind of 50 years later, got a similar reputation. Not with doctors, though. It was called the dot-com killer. So you had all these tech millionaires, much like the Doctor class, sort of 50 years earlier. Again, the hottest, sleekest new general aviation aircraft at the time was the Cirrus SR22, so it's no longer the Bonanza. So you had all these tech millionaires that wanted to spend their tech money. And so they bought the Cirrus SR22, and once again, they were kind of like low-hour pilots, and it was too much plane for them, for their experience level. And so once again, there were some pilot error incidents. Nothing innately wrong with the aircraft at all. It was just some of the people who bought them were probably not experienced enough for that caliber of plane.
Actually, imagine that Diamond G50 will be the next. That's also a very nice, sleek-looking, high-performance airplane, single engine.
We had a similar thing here in the UK. 70-year-old kids buying second-hand Ford Escorts.
Yeah. And then they upgraded from the Ford Escorts to the Sierra
Subarus.
And then wrap them around trees and things.
Yeah. Well, I've got Darkstar, Hex's Darkstar flying in formation with me off my left wingtip, but I don't see any other Darkstars at the moment. That's the only one.
I had a couple around me a few moments ago.
Oh,
I've got one right above me. Phoenix is right above me right now.
I think I just
About to destroy me with his weight turbulence.
There's Hex, so close to me that his plane is starting to fade out. Going Wonder Woman mode. But that's the only Darkstar I see at the moment. I'm looking up and around
Mustangs and
all
Corsairs,
directions.
I should be front left, front right to you.
Right. Do not see it.
See Hex.
Let's go to Peter's point of view. Hey, ZK Das, nice to see you. ZK Das is a ATR pilot joining us from New Zealand. Been a guest on the stream a few times in the past. Always a pleasure to have him here. I'm way behind from you, Allison. Now I think turning around to fly underneath that bridge slowed me down. I'm flying full throttle in my DA40.
I'm doing about 170 now. I thought I was trying to catch up, but apparently you're behind me.
Yeah, I'm only just now entering the Irish Sea.
All right, do you want me to? I'll pull down. I'll pull back because I have the coastline of Wales in front of me.
K5J.
What happened, Peter?
Nothing.
Oh, we win!
F's in the chat.
As long as we get there, CD, does that count as a win?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, you have to complete. That's a DNF for Peter, as far as I'm concerned.
Right, I was going too slow to let you like 130 knots, and then it began to stall, and I gave full throttle.
Peter, that's like that you see on the Olympics where people showboat just before the line and fall over.
Yeah.
I wasn't even showboating. I was trying to
You're boating.
to join.
There's my most viewed clip on my personal Twitch channel is me doing that in Reno air racing mode. I had a big lead on the final lap, and as I crossed the finish line, I did a victory roll, and it overstressed my airframe, and I got the black screen of death, and it reset me. And in that time, someone else overtook me, and I finished second.
Oh no!
Definitely got what I deserved. You never celebrate until the race is over.
しまった。
I'll see myself.
ブヨブヨしちゃった。あ、どんどこ見つかってきた。
I'm doing well, very well, thank you, Data. It's good to see you.
おー、どんどこ来た。
Where's
あ
the
れもしかして
SO?
合流した？
Nice.
Oh, Extreme Ninja.
ダークスターチームは。あんな人気だけか。
Some lovely flying in the Spitfire on my side, on my port side.
I love flying the Spitfire. I hate taxiing, taking off, and landing the Spitfire.
You and me both. Yeah.
Ground
It's carnage.
Yeah.
It's all right while I'm sat still, then it's carnage. Then I finally get to the end and I can fly it nice.
Yeah.
And then it's carnage once I get it on the ground again. Chutney,
Once
eat
it's in
cold
the
meat
air,
bones, chutney.
once it's in the air, it's a beaut. Lovely plane. Once it's airborne, it's just the process of getting it into the air and getting it onto the ground are atrocious. Probably just my lack of skill, I'm sure.
You actually do need to rather trim. You need a very little throttle, because the moment the supercharger kicks in, you're done.
Yeah. That was my big mistake when I first learned how to fly. I would do what I always do: is on takeoff, I'd put in full throttle. That does not work on the Spitfire.
Oh.
I get there on Wednesday. So what's that now? That's Saturday, Sunday. That's nearly 5 days. So yeah, 4 days and a full week. Dallas first. Then we're taking a road trip down to because I'm staying with old veteran Fort Worth. Apologies. I'm staying with old veteran 965 and his lovely wife.
Oh, very good.
And he's driving me down, and then we're going to do the whole Sim Expo stuff, and then we're going to do the Houston Space Center on the Monday, and then we're going to drive back to Dallas, and I'm going to spend some time there, baseballing, eating boomsticks, getting a little bit chubbier than I was before I left the UK. else, yeah, baseball and other bits and pieces. Redress the stress warm is chilly. Yeah, I've heard about that bit. I've heard it's like 39 degrees Celsius chilly.
So, Alison, I'll give you a pro tip about dining in Texas. The portion sizes are huge. You don't need to clean your plate.
Oh, okay. I don't do that anyway.
Always order a small portion as a European.
I've actually gone, when I've been in the States, I have been known to order the child portion.
Yeah. But I would do the same because it's so much.
Yeah, even then, I said, so I had some chicken fingers, right? So they're like chicken strippers. And I said, I'll have the child portion. And it came with 15 of these huge great sticks. Like, and I said, no, sorry, I ordered the child portion. And they went, that is the child's portion.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, I only ever have like 3 or 4 fish fingers, let alone 15 chicken fingers.
I might have 6 if I'm hungry or 7. That's fun.
That's sort of my size, probably. Boy, it was dreadful. Anyway.
That's like that scene from Parks and Recreation where Ron Swanson goes to the all-day breakfast place and orders all the bacon and eggs. And then he tells the waiter, wait, come back. I want to clarify. You might have heard me say, bring me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I actually said was, give me all the bacon and eggs that you have.
It's always the problem when you have breakfast in a hotel, right? There's so much, but you really don't need that much breakfast.
Are you going to be there, CD?
I am not, but I am hosting part of the virtual Flights and Exo event next Saturday. So, Alison, hopefully Jane will find you on the show floor and we can get you on camera during Saturday's live stream next week.
Yeah, I'll be there. Crossing the Wales coastline shortly, and then we're not too far away from Hartford West.
40 miles out.
Is there a hotkey to toggle POIs and landmarks? You know, I'm not sure if there's a hotkey. I know you can certainly disable them in the options. Go to assistance options. So hit escape, go to options, assistance options, and then I think it's under nav and POI. And you can disable the POI markers from there.
I actually just saw a POI marker while I disabled them. So I think that's a.
Was it a? There's different kinds of POI markers. It might be a flora or fauna marker as well.
Yeah, I think it was an HMS. It was a ship. I think it might have been an aircraft carrier. So it might have been a mod.
Okay. HMS Queen Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yeah. Royal Navy's new aircraft carrier, flying F-35s.
Yeah, I think it was part of an add-on marketplace where there were like 5 or 6 aircraft carriers on it.
Yeah, famous for launching with no aircraft assigned to it. The only aircraft carrier with no aircraft assigned to it at commencement of operations.
So what was the reason for that? Obviously the aircraft weren't ready, but why would they put it into service? Was it just to sort of train the crew on everything unrelated to aircraft operations at that point?
That's what they said, but it was basically underfunding. It was good old British ingenuity. I can't say it on stream, but look up the 7 Ps. Involves planning and performance.
Zekidas, other than the new announcement of Flight Sim 2024, have there been any big Flight Sim news? Well, actually, next week we have 3 releases scheduled. On Monday next week, we're launching City Update 2 France, which includes photogrammetry for several French cities, as well as Paris-Le Bourget, a bespoke airport of that airport, which is home of the Paris Air Show, which is taking place next week. One of the biggest and most important aviation events in the world. Also launching alongside City Update 2, the Ladocare 631, famous French flying boat from the 1940s that for a time held the world record for longest non-stop passenger service. So interesting bit of aviation history in that plane. So that's the next local legend, releasing next Monday as well. And then on Thursday, we're targeting the full release, non-beta full release of Aircraft and Avionics Update 2. So for all you Boeing 747 and 787 fans out there, Working Title's done a lot of great work improving those 2 aircraft, and that'll be coming targeted for next Thursday, if all goes well, for Aircraft and Avionics Update 2.
Been looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to having a long hauler in the sim.
It's so boring, long haul. Or is it me?
Right, we're coming up on Haverfordwest, 10 nautical hour.
18.
Talktrace says, after this flight, I have much more appreciation for the skill of Hex the Legend and Dark Star.
Same. Do we have a runway heading scene? Almost a bit. Not sure.
It looks like it runs generally north-south, but not quite. So it'd be like runway heading, I don't know, 10 or something, 05, something like that.
21 and 03.
03, okay.
21? Oh, okay.
21 and 03.
Yep.
Crosswind on
使
both.
ったかもしれんアンテナが。
On the other side of the airport.
Actually, no, 21.
21 it is. Should be on this side of the airport.
I have the Welsh coastline in sight now, so just almost finished crossing the Irish Sea. I have faith in you, Peter. I think you can do this.
I don't.
I mean, you could put like a 90 knot headwind.
Fair.
Whoa, check this out. I've got an inverted Cirrus Vision jet behind me. I'm pretty sure that aircraft is not approved for aerobatic flight. It looks like, look at that though, it kind of looks like a spaceship or something. Like the livery, it kind of looks like that black paint on the front, underside, kind of looks like it's a cockpit. And the inverted V-tail with a high wing, like, that actually looks like a really cool design.
Should make such an effort.
Zekidov says, I heard a story as a kid about a U.S. Air Force B-2 stealth bomber that was being flown to the UK to make a fast and low fly class of an air show in the south of England. They overshot and had to turn around and come back for another run, which took them all the way over the channel to Belgium at the speed they were traveling. Not sure if that's true or not.
Crikey.
Alice might be able to verify.
Don't know. It's a good question. Don't know the answer.
Okay.
21.
Gonna cheat. Yes.
お、復興も出てる。あべやわ、これ。
At least I think I have. I think it's
By the way, folks, F's in the chat for Jane. I don't think she's going to be joining us today. Her internet appears to still be down. So, big sad face for that. We all miss having Jane on the stream.
Yeah, but I think the rest is closed.
I mean, 27 doesn't have a cross on it. Who's coming from 273? 27 more harder.
I know I'm cheating, but
No, it's hard to see forward in the Dark Star. I
Yeah.
forgive you for doing this, Peter. I think you might be able to pull this off. I have faith in you here, Peter.
I mean, how you?
But
I don't know what. Well, never mind.
Touchdown a little short of the runway there.
Just that. There we go. Landed it. Nailed it.
First try.
Yeah.
So
Flying
apparently
says I have less faith now.
stall speed is around 180, 190.
Hex says landed 200 knots, no speed brakes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Perfect.
Allison, I think you're probably still quite a bit ahead of me, so let's switch over to your POV for a while.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see where I am now. There we go.
I'll retry.
There's a building right on final. Is that pylons? No, yes it is.
Well, folks, I want to ask for some feedback from the chat. I don't think this is something we're going to do every week, but as sort of like a infrequent something that we may do every now and then. What did you think about having two different flight plans like we have today? And you can choose which one you prefer. Is that something you'd like to see us do again?
ダークスターが合流してきたか。大西洋を横断して。
I think it's quite cool.
It says more Dark Star. Hey, Sim Thomas here.
Finally. Okay. This is my first attempt on landing.
Get less of a bounce, more of a how to roll that time ceiling.
You got Danny in the chat says I'm a professional Airbus 220, aka Bombardier C series pilot in the US. Your sim is good. Well, that's great feedback. Love to hear that, Danny.
200 knots, like I said.
あれ、その時間を動かしてるのが見えるの。すげえな。
There, much better landing. Definitely stop in time.
本当に虹だ。ええね
There's the end of the runway.
That's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Thanks to the air brakes, though.
I just once asked, has anyone else used their cell phone for eye tracking using the sim? I found it works semi-decently. Well, so I'm looking around to things right now on my POV. I have a Track IR 5. Sorry, not a Track IR, Tobii eye tracking 5. And I love it. you want to invest in flight sim hardware, you're kind of a new simmer, the first thing you should buy is a good set of flight controls, a sticker yoke, a throttle, and rudder pedals. That should be your number one purchase. Your number two purchase after that should be head or eye tracking. So I've got the Tobii eye tracker. I love it. It works so well. You can see I'm moving my head around. The camera's tracking my head movements. It's got 6 degrees of freedom. I can move my head up or down. I can lean in, lean it back. You know, it works in external view too. I can move my head around. So I love it. I've never tried any of the free versions like the cell phone ones. I heard they're okay, but you get what you pay for, of course. So I don't think they're going to be as good as the paid solution like the Tobii Eye Tracker 5. How much that cost? Someone correct me. I can't remember. I think, and don't quote me if I'm wrong. I believe the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is $249 US.
250.
Is that right?
I believe so. 250.
Yeah, I think so.
It's now on sale for 237.
Oh, there you go.
And usually it's 280 actually.
A little bit of a discount then.
Yeah. Of course, it works with lots of games like Hormone Simulator, lots of riding games. Stuff like that.
Yeah, even some like action games like Far Cry, Assassin's Creed. Those are also compatible with the Tobii Eye Tracker. But yeah, for Flight Simulator, it's my favorite peripheral. You know, next to my flight controls, it's my favorite peripheral by far. So
Eurofighter Typhoon.
All right, Allison, how close are you getting to the runway?
Which one? The final destination.
Bury ports. Final.
17 nautical.
Okay, very good. I've got Allison in sight to my 12 o'clock now as well, so I'm catching up a little bit.
Cool. Do you want me to slow down a bit? I'm doing 169 ground.
We've got about, we're targeting to finish in around 6 minutes, based on my current position.
Doit.
It might be a little bit longer than that. I'm 25
Okay.
nautical miles
記念校塗装でしょうな。
Alright, we're doing good then.
Yeah.
Which one are you taking to?
I don't know yet.
違うわ、青。
So we're going to be flying over Pendine Sands just off my 12 o'clock shortly. Pendine Sands is well known for British land speed records. That's where they did a lot of the land speed records in the UK.
Yeah, now most of the land speed records are at the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Yeah, these days they are, yeah. You might want to switch away from me. I have a pause. There we go.
今日フィットフォックスおらんな。
I think I have something doing saving going on in the background.
やっぱり無理して買うまでない飛行機なのかね。
Turgonia says, the Tobii is awesome. I love it. Yeah, second. I love mine too. Old Veteran says, hoping for some good sales at Flight Sim Expo. I'm bringing my bank account with me. Cold Navy says the music is very all caps dramatic. I'm not hearing the music. I don't have that being broadcast into my headphones, so I'll take your word for that. All right, I'm 8 minutes out according to my GPS for the full stop.
Come up to 3.5 minutes out.
Yeah, we're on your point of view now, Allison, so watch your landing.
That's fine.
We're going 0-4, right?
Your choice, whatever the winds dictate, I guess.
the wind, it'll be a tailwind, but
high.
we could be really naughty and land on 2-4, but that's technically a closed run approach runway there.
You switch my screen TV?
I just did.
Do 0-4, be naughty, be good.
Oh, Peter's got the approach camera. We're watching a lot of people come in here. This is cool. Why don't you commentate and why don't you give ratings? No, actually, we say this. Except the three of us, of course. We're fair game.
Uh-oh.
Why is the DC3 not rendered? Is it?
Blind Cookie says to Allison regarding the closed runway, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Oh, very true. Unless it's my other half. I've just bought a... There's been a delivery. What have you bought for your flight sim? Is normally the... it's not the question I get.
Yeah.
Right, airfield aside.
Well, I think I'm pretty set for flight sim peripherals for now. I've got my Thrustmaster Warthog stick and throttle, Thrustmaster TPR rudder pedals, Kobe Eye Tracker 5. I've got an Elgato Stream Deck 24-button edition dedicated solely to flight sim controls using the flight tracker add-on. So yeah, I think I'm pretty set. I can't think of anything else I need for my setup at this point.
Just because I shouldn't, I am going 0-4. 2. I'm not going to do the closed one.
All right, switching back over to Allison's POV.
I'll make sure I don't land on the little sort of track circuit they have at Cambry.
Currently 13 miles out, 5 minutes away.
Flight like you stood it.
At 149 knot ground speed, full throttle, my Diamond DA40.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
150 is pretty impressive.
A bit of a tailwind then.
Yeah,
139 indicated.
Yeah, a little bit of a tailwind, probably about 4 knots-ish.
I'm glad I'm safe at the front. I almost crashed it.
You're safe at the front and on the ground.
For the first time.
God, it's only 14 feet. I'm very high then, right?
So let's see some landings.
I can't believe how fast time goes. 2030 is closer than 2017. That's really depressing. Oh, I'm getting old.
やべえ。
We are old too.
Yeah.
You're all bands, which is what we call for young'uns here in the UK. Especially when I make you all young. How's that?
Kind of like it, I guess.
You know, I'm ancient. You know, you guys say you're old, and I'm just literally ancient.
Well,
I might change
お
my
ー、緊
sim
急
name at
空
some
中
point to
給
like the
ギリ間
Flying
に合っ
Granny.
た。
How did you actually come by this Airfield City.
It's the closest.
Yeah, so this is the closest available airport to Bury Ports, which was the destination airport of the French.
It's that bay over there. You see that bay literally at my 1 o'clock?
Yep.
That's the bay she landed in.
Right.
This is quite a lot. Yeah. Oh yeah. So there's the little circuit, Pembury Circuit. And it's obviously crossing this one as well. It's not exactly crossing. Oh well.
Yes. Try the Dark Star.
Dark Star.
Barn doors are out then. Leveling out. So I can just drift her over the threshold. Slow her down.
Alison Mellow Coop is saying your new name should be Granny Fly-by-Wire.
Oh, Granny Fly-by-Wire, that's quite cool.
It is.
I'll give you credit for that one. How's that? Back on the center line. There we go. And I will slow her down and then make sure I can do a quick exit off so that I don't get in the way of anyone else. There we go. I think that was all right.
There she is.
All right, switching to my point of view since I'm the last of us still in the air. Got the field in sight. I'm on a
Someone spawned right in front of me, Jeebus.
on a long left base now. I'll be turning final momentarily. Whoa, what was that sound? Sounds like a foghorn.
Yeah. No, it was just a little moped here. Still, this mic picks up everything, and I do have noise cancellation on.
どっちが着陸
Might need some tuning
か
here and there.
ね。旋回していくね。
All right, turning final.
こっちか。あれが
Hey, ailerons.
の日じ
Good
ゃ
to see you. Bounce and go sound more fun, they do.
All right, looking pretty good. Nicely aligned with the runway. Laps to landing.
So exciting. Will he make it?
Well, it's not like a couple weeks ago where I was trying to fly the F-18 very unsuccessfully.
Yeah, the flight director. Where does your flight director want to?
Yeah.
Where does it want you to
Feeling
go?
a lot more confident in a Diamond DA-40.
Press the FD button. Press the FD.
Lumpy Amit says supersonic Gran. Yeah, that might. Well, not really, because I fly low and slow, but just like it.
Subsonic Grand.
Subsonic Gran. Yes.
All right, there we go. Nice smooth touchdown. This was a short runway. Wow.
It was, yeah.
I almost used all of it. All right, I'm also going to pull off here.
I spotted that a little bit out. It's like, okay, I'm going to put the barn doors down then. Just slow it right down.
All right, we have arrived, folks. Welcome to Buryport, Wales, which was the final destination of Amelia Earhart in her flight in the Friendship in 1928, when she became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. And we just got a big raid from Xbox. Welcome in viewers from the Xbox channel. We're just wrapping up here on Microsoft Flight Simulator. We did a historical recreation today of two famous transatlantic flights. 1919, Alcock and Brown flew the first ever non